Unscripted.
If you're one of the lucky ones that actually owns a PlayStation 5, well, consider yourself lucky. And if you don't, well, I wish you luck when it does come to the ability to actually pick up a PlayStation 5 and play it, as it doesn't really look like it is going to be happening for very many people anytime soon. And, you know, that's a real bit of a bummer, and I completely understand that. We did get some news today, however, that was quite good and something that I definitely wanted to talk about. And, you know, for me personally, I do think that it's one of those things that will probably come to fruition sooner rather than later, but it is nice to see this, and we got some confirmation on it. So I think that's always good when you're doing these kind of videos, and you know, you have people you know, kind of talking about this stuff. This is really one of the things where you know, I think it makes a lot of sense, and to do a video on it, I think there's going to be a lot of happy PlayStation fans, you know, and I do honestly believe that. I think that, you know, when it comes to gaming and when it comes to just anything in general, when it comes to PlayStation lately, Sony has a definite advantage when it comes to this stuff. So, you know, we'll see how it works out. And again, you know, I'm very excited to see where this leads down the line, but it was nice to get like this confirmation and stuff like that, and stuff like this that happens and gets confirmed, you know, really, really cool stuff. So I do kind of want to jump into this right away because, like I said, no time like the present, and this is really cool stuff. What's up, everybody? Crapgamer here with Crapgamer Reviews, back with another video. Thank you so much for checking it out. I really appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe. I would appreciate that as well. It helps out the channel, and it means a lot to me personally. If you guys are looking for a way to help out my little crappy, struggling channel, the best way to do it, a simple like. It goes a long way and means a lot to me personally. Thank you guys very much for continually to rock out with me. YouTube doesn't send out a lot of notifications, so if you wouldn't mind, hey, you know, just kind of take a chance and hit the bell so you're notified of all the content as soon as it drops, because that's always much appreciated, and I'm always humbled by that as well. Shout out to all the old subscribers, new subscribers, and everyone in between. You guys are really, really fantastic, and I really do appreciate each and every one of you. So thank you guys for kind of rocking out and just doing your thing with me. I appreciate that. So there's some new features coming to the PlayStation 5, and there's also some good news from a developer in regards to the PlayStation 5, and this is exactly something along the lines of what I've been really excited about and kind of talking about. So, you know, sometimes better late than never, but the one thing that I kind of wanted to hit on here was when you have developers, you know, that are kind of out there talking about these consoles and stuff like that, I think that it really makes a lot of sense to kind of pay close attention to it, because developers are the ones that are most excited by like new technology and things like this. And what I mean by that is they don't like to have limits put upon them, right? So developers are always out there trying to do the best thing that they can and try to get the most out of the consoles and stuff like that. So I really do think that this is something that, you know, would definitely go a long way with the gaming community. And when we see stuff like this get announced and kind of come out, I feel like it really should kind of be paid close attention to. But in addition to that, Sony is listening, and it proves that Sony is paying attention to what fans are asking for and kind of addressing a lot of those issues and things like that. Like, for instance, the PlayStation 5 Store finally gets a deal section 3 months after launch. So the PlayStation 5 Store has finally got its own deal section almost 3 months after launch in November. Up until now, the deals have been hidden away in the featured section of the store and usually tucked beneath banners for upcoming games of pre-orders available in the store. However, now you can easily get access to the sales that are currently ongoing, as well as exclusive discounts beneath that, such as Disjunction, which has been a launch discount for PlayStation Plus members. Now, right at the bottom, you also have tabs that open up to show every discount available right now, which should make the browsing of the PlayStation Store from your PlayStation 5 much, much easier and smoother in the future. This is one of the number one features that fans were requesting, so this is really cool to see that they've actually kind of paid attention to this and addressed it and have fixed it. So, you know, again, a lot of times, you know, I feel like it's just one of those things that Microsoft doesn't get as much as Sony. Like, Microsoft doesn't really understand that or pay as close attention, because Microsoft's console is pretty much always in beta. But with that being said, you know, it is nice of Sony to actually go out there and really listen within such a quick turnaround. I feel like that's something that they have kind of done, you know what I mean? And I think that that's something that can continue to be done. So, and I do think that's something that people should kind of pay attention to. So for me personally, I always look at that and I go, well, you know what? The fact that a company is going to be listening to fans and can pay attention to what people can want all this time later, I think that that's really an intelligent thing. That's really something of, that realistically sounds pretty incredible to me. You know, like, to me, that's something that shows you that they're listening to the fans, they're listening to gamers all around the world, and I love that. That's something that I'll never get tired of as a gamer, so that's really cool. Meanwhile, there was also feedback from developers, Japanese developers, when talking about the PlayStation 5, because, you know, one of the criticisms with the PlayStation 5 is the lack of developer support and stuff like that. So, you know, this is one of those things that I find to be pretty incredible as well. That, you know, it's not really as cut and dry as you might think. Listen, you know, the PlayStation 5 might never do as well as the PlayStation 4 or the Switch or, you know, things like that in Japan, and that's just because times change over there. You have to realize that what happens in other parts of the world maybe isn't exactly the same there. It doesn't necessarily have to be a trend. Like, you know, arcades are still really big in Japan. They'll never be big in the States again. You know, it's like, you know, when game industry crashed in the 80s, the console game industry crashed in the 80s, that never happened there, right? They went on and continued playing their games and stuff. So, like I said, it's not really indicative just because one thing happens there, it happens everywhere or anything like that. But things like that can happen, and it does happen. So, Platinum Games actually dismissed the idea that Japanese developers will support PS5 less as Sony focuses on the US. So, Platinum Games studio head, Mr. Inaba, has revealed in an interview that they don't believe Japanese developers will lessen their support for the PS5, with Sony focusing on Western markets like the US. Speaking at VGC, Inaba said the following about Japanese developer support for Sony's new console. He says, and I quote, "To be honest, we don't feel it that much, or at least I haven't felt the impact of it myself. That being said, I do understand that the console industry in Japan is not what it used to be, and when that happens, the priorities of these big console makers will change, and that makes perfect sense to me." Mr. Inaba went on to then say that he doesn't believe Sony should focus on Japan just because they are a Japanese company. They also don't consider Sony to be an American, but rather international company. Hideki Kamiya went on an interview at VGC to talk about Sony's decision to make the confirm button in Japan cross what it was previously circled. He said, "To me, this doesn't feel like a Japan versus US thing. My pride isn't hurt as a Japanese person. It's just more that these are two camps who had two ways of doing things, and I think that they've short-sightedly leaned one way. I don't understand the reasoning behind that. It's just a little bit of disrespect towards the gaming cultures that have existed for decades now as part of so many people's lives. I feel like the PS5 has disrupted that, and I don't know if it is meaningful to do that." Mr. Kamiya goes on to say that he doesn't think Japan's support for PS5 will crumble and Sony won't be shunned by Japanese creators. All this information comes from an extensive interview, which is going to be linked. I will link this in the description below as well. And as you guys might know, Jim Ryan, head of PlayStation, previously dismissed claims that Sony is moving away from Japan. Obviously, they're getting lots of deals. I mean, if you look at some of the game deals that they're getting, it makes a lot of sense that they're sort of going to be able to do that. So yeah, I do think that that's going to be something to pay attention to in the future as well, and we'll just have to see how that kind of plays out. I do feel like that's something that gamers are going to have to come up with on their own. Like, is that something that we're going to be able to see? Like for me, I like having kind of options and things like that where we get to see what's come. Like, maybe there's a new host for Yakuza or whatever. Like, I like that more people were able to play that. Our Xbox gamers actually playing that. I think that's something that we'll really have to wait and see, because I'm not really sure. But at the end of the day, it'll depend on where everybody stands. But yeah, I do think this is some interesting news. I'm going to link all of this in the description below. You fine folks can definitely get out there and check it out and peruse it at your own leisure and let me know what you think there. There's always something big happening. There's always some pretty cool stuff going on in the gaming industry, and I love talking about it. So thank you guys very much for continuing to rock out with me and continue to just be great people and supporting the channel and stuff like that. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. If you want to hit me up on Twitter at @the_Crapgamer, Xbox Live MOH space Crapgamer, PSN just Crapgamer. I try to respond to everybody in a timely fashion as well. So thank you guys for doing that and kind of heading that out. Again, it's going to be great stuff. I look forward to hearing from you guys. Please stay safe, happy, and healthy. As always, thank you for rocking out. Rack 'em up, gamers. Rack 'em up. Crapgamer out.
Unscripted.